The SAPS Management and the Police Ministry, led by Minister Bheki Cele, are visiting West Village in the West Rand. They are conducting a site visit to the area where 8 women were gang raped on the 27th of July this year. The group is interacting with the community to assess safety and security concerns raised. Our reporter Manqoba Mchunu is following that story and joins us now for an update. I do imagine, Manqoba, that the visit would be a visit that sort of has elements of a report back, because we know that in the wake of that gang rape, we did see a number of meetings between police top brass and local communities. And so I would imagine that part of what today should be about, at least in my expectation, would be about reporting back to communities about bringing down levels of crime in that area.
Well, certainly, Tulas, and you'll recall, of course, that last month the police minister held an imbizo here in this particular community over some of the issues that have been raised by community members. Of course, you recall that top of the list of those issues was the issue of crime in these areas. The community are really airing their frustrations as far as illegal mining is concerned in this community. They say that illegal miners are behind some of the heinous crimes in this particular community, which include, of course, the issue of rape, which we know is what really caused what we saw here in this community, where community members took issues onto their own hands. Of course, they accuse police of failing to service this community, and they say that the illegal miners are terrorizing these communities, saying that, in fact, they feel that they are being held hostage by illegal miners in this particular area. And in fact, I recall one of the speakers to us even alluding to the fact that, you know, they have a curfew of 6 o'clock in the evening here in this particular area, because if you dare leave your house after 6 p.m., that's when you might fall, victim to criminality in this area. So they say that the rapes here are high in this community, the robberies are high in this community. And you recall, of course, that the police minister had promised that there will be some intervention as far as police are concerned. There will be specialized policing teams that will be sent in this area, among them the tactical response team, which is Amaperete, that will be deployed in this particular area. So the minister doing a walkabout really here in this particular area, just to check perhaps on some of those promises that were made, but also engaging with community members as far as some of those interventions are concerned, and as far as the issues of crime are concerned in this community. I want to just listen and just take a listen to what the minister is saying now. Is of course speaking to some people here at one of the places where we see clearly that it is one of the taverns in the area.
System. System wakaba. Nyon. Mukwanas. Amen. So school busy register. Kala ngasibong. Wena? Spiwo sabe. Nenza Angela. Kupe makai. Okay, wena kupe kai. Wena? Niafunda. Katel. Ne PhD utoksawa. Mas o cada moço no PhD escolheu. Não abre na PhD ao cleti. Onde electrical. Okay. 7 up. 7 Or report. E mais. Okay. Okay. So you weekend namhlanje umnandi nje.
Well, Tulas, the minister just speaking to some of the patrons here at this particular area, but of course just asking them, what it is that they're doing, just checking if there are, South Africans, if there are illegal immigrants that are staying here. Of course, remember, Tulas, that the accusation here is that most of those illegal miners that are terrorizing these communities are illegal miners that come from outside the country. These, are people that are said to be, from other countries who are involved in those illegal mining activities. In fact, this is not far, Tulas, from where that heinous gang rape incident happened just, at the end of July, where 8 women were gang raped by a group of men who at the time were alleged to be wearing blankets assumed to be Basotho nationals. And of course, we did see community members taking matters into their own hands, going into some of those houses, and some of the structures that they belonged were owned to by Zamazamas in this particular area. And I can tell you that earlier on, the Minister of Police did go to one of the areas as well, which is Ritvalley, which is also affected by illegal mining. He engaged with community members. He visited one of the illegal mining operations that was happening there, and promising that they are going to take action about what is happening in those communities. He's speaking to one of the business owners here of this particular establishment. Let's take a listen.
So, and what told eNCA of late? No sinivakashele nje sobuza ukuthi after sila injani impilo, is it improving, or you yourself telling us more what do you think could be done to improve the situation? Yebo sabona ba. Ubabani wena?
Ngibaba Mpofu lapha ekhaya.
Mpofu wala ekhaya. Khamba kanjani baMpofu? Siyancela.
Kuba khona kwena wasiza kakhulu.
Kwasiza. So ufuna ukuthini more? What else can we do as amaphoyisa to kwenza ngcono isimo?
To sustain.
To sustain.
To sustain.
Okay.
Keep on doing what we've been doing. Because they keep on mushrooming.
Okay.
Maybe lapha they mushroom somewhere.
Okay.
So if we can keep on their tail, make sure that they don't mushroom elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, sustaining what we've been doing, I think is going to be good.
Okay.
We appreciate what you did. We appreciate very much your imbizo lena. Made a very big difference.
Okay.
Because they can walk to the clinic, people they found their freedom.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise coming little by little, but at least they found their freedom.
There's
a change.
Little bit of a change.
There is a change.
Okay.
So now what we want is to make sure that we sustain.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's fine. Your national commissioners here, national commissioner were here. They were listening. Sizele nje ukuzolalela nje namhlanje ukuthi emva obasela how is life?
We've seen Uba Ukekane at night running around. We've been with him at night.
Okay.
Running around chasing some guys. We are happy about that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, okay.
Well, as you can hear, the minister interacting with community members, telling them that is here just to check, as far as police interventions are concerned, how the situation is, whether there has been any improvement in the situation, and just, speaking to some of the community members about some of their issues. This particular store owner saying that, they are at this particular point, not seeing many Zamazamas in this community, and saying that they're really seeing what the police are doing in this community as far as that issue is concerned. We're just going to perhaps try and speak to General Bheki Cele just to find out from the police minister about his engagement here. Minister, just if you can explain to us, we are live on eNCA, why it is so important for you to come back here. What is this all about?
Well, we were here some few weeks ago under a really intense situation where the community, as you know, that around here, young women were attacked, raped and all. As we spoke to the community, they say situation was worse. What we knew, what we saw there about those kids was part of almost ordinary life of criminality. People here called Zamazamas, chasing people, chasing their houses and all that. We promised and we made commitment that we'll try to work together with the communities. That's why we're back here. We have moved a little bit of some other areas. One area that they raised a serious issue was 3 and 4, there where we started. There was a factory there, Zamazama factory, that has been dismantled. There is another on the other side that has been dismantled called the Plastic View. But we had to come to listen. There are issues that communities are still raising, but more than anything, looks like the life is getting better, but we need to sustain it. We need to work with the communities. There are matters that we're supposed to deal with to improve the situation.
But as far as police, reaction is concerned, some of the community members at this point, General, are saying that the police are still not responsive when it comes to some of the crimes that they report. We spoke to residents of Reedvalley who are saying that even now, they haven't seen any improvement in terms of police reaction. What are you doing about that?
Well, it's exactly why we're here, so that also we hear those things. But some of the community members, they say they see the difference. It's not just as we came here and the community was together, almost everybody was one side to say police are not responsive, are not helping. But as we move now, they say while there are issues, while there are matters that we need to, while the police, but some community members now, they say they're beginning to see the difference. The only thing they say, improve on what we see, but sustain what we see, is exactly why we're here, so that we're here under these relaxed conditions, where we're not hitting bills or where we're not responding to any form of violence. Just to this community didn't know that we were coming here, so we just wanted to come and see the day-to-day life and hear more information, so that we act on that information.
You speak about sustainability, and this is something that the community is also asking for. How long do you think you'll be able to sustain the number of officers that you have brought out to this particular area to ensure the safety of this community?
Well, one thing that we committed ourselves as we came here is that we will come back to the community to find out how better life is in that particular time. This is not the trip. That one will have to go back to the community as we did come. So we are not going to reduce the availability and sustainability of the police until we come back to the community to say, here we are, can we hear from you? What do you think could be done now? Can we withdraw? I know they will say, don't withdraw. But for now, we want to sustain, we want to remove the people that they talk about. We have removed quite several factories. A very big number of people have been arrested here around this area, which we believe that is softening the level of crime, but indeed with a full acceptance that more still have to be done.
Just two questions in one, Minister. The first one is the issue around the arrest that you've just spoken about. How many of those people have you been able to link to the rapes of those 8 women earlier in August? The second one is the community still complaining about police officers who are working with these Zamazamas. What's the plan with those police officers that are seemingly corrupt and working with Zamazamas and getting some kind of payback?
Let me respond to the last question. We did say, wherever we go with the communities, wherever they raise issues with these police, we are requesting community members to come to us as a national commissioner, as a provincial commissioner, as the regional commissioner, as myself. Come with that evidence, because we agree. If there are these bad elements within the police, of which we are agree, but we also want to make the point that many police are doing the good job. They are good police officers. Give that information to us so that we are able. So I said, one young lady has raised the matter now. I said, I'm ready to listen. I'll listen to her and any other person that has got that information, because it doesn't help to shout on it and all that. What helps is to talk on the information, and then we make sure that Amapoyisa leadership, if they've committed crime, you know that we've got other ways of dealing with it. We've got iPad, we've got Secretariat. The Secretary of the Secretariat is here to check and follow up on those matters that the communities are raising. So that one, we are really fine. We do want to uproot those officers that are here for the job. As I've said time and again, we're not here for the job. We're here for the service. And we want to see them serving the people here rather than doing things that they're not supposed to do.
And the DNA results are
14 people, we know that they have appeared in court. And those people were fully identified by the victims in both photos and in the actual identification of those people. So we know we have those people. Unfortunately, I know that laboratories have requested other 7 DNA specimens about a week or 2. to say they want to go to be conclusive about those. So those are continuing, but it does look like we're going somewhere. There are even some footages that have been found and all that. Maybe it's enough for me to end there, but it does look like we are having a direction on what happened in that particular time. But one thing, when we get a proper direction and we think that we have got enough kind of information, it will be fair to go to the families to brief them even before we brief the media. But we have found some direction on that question.
In terms of operations, are you happy with the police operation so far here in the West Rand? And are the special police teams that you had promised will come here already?
But you had to Babumpofu say him and Kekane here in the Bolt store. They have time where they move during the night and all. Operations will be always improved, but we'll never reach the situation where we say now we're at the best. But what we need to do is to keep doing those things, to sustain those things and all that kind of thing. Mawela has been having these operations, not necessarily here, but around here. Where we went, where we found us in 2 and 3, that was a very populated community. All removed, that was a factory. Most of the so-called gold was brought there, was not even coming from there. Those people were linking their electricity, water with the communities, others with the cooperation of the community, others forcing the community to do those things. So we had to remove all that village, and we had to arrest those people. These operations will have to go on, and we hope that we'll manage to clean these streets. Maybe the question shall be addressed, when do you think we'll remove there? For now, we'll have to saturate this place and then come back to the community to hear from them. Do we agree to withdraw now? I'm very sure they will say no.
Thank you. Well, that's the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, just responding to some of the issues, of course, that are concerning these communities. You recall, Chulas, that he had been here just listening to some of the community concerns around crime and safety in this area. And of course, at this particular point, the Minister saying that there are interventions in this community. There are special forces that have been deployed in these areas that are dealing with the issue of illegal mining. But of course, we do know that he says they will come back to this community once again, just to check in the near future how their interventions have been so far. But he says that as far as the operations are concerned, those operations are going to continue here in this particular community. They are still going to have a lot of operations that will take place here to ensure that as he said during that imbizo, that the communities of the West Rand can sleep a peaceful night without being bothered by criminals in this particular area.
All right, thank you for that update. That's eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu out in West Village in Krugersdorp there with an update, and also speaking to the Police Minister Bheki Cele, who is on a walkabout in that area